Hey, good afternoon, folks. Here's George Bunny, One Nation. This video here is basically for, all of our black folks in America and really around the world, but in America. Because, I know that, I follow the news, I follow politics, I follow history, and I know a lot of people don't. But if you run across this video, you could get a little bit of it. The little bit I know, I'm sharing right now. And I'm here to tell you that in Africa, America is SOL, shit out of luck in Africa. China and Russia and a few other countries are going to dominate over there. America is not. England is not. There will be some European countries that will have an end. But America, especially with the administration that we have now, which is 100% anti-black. They think what they do here, nobody sees. But black folks are watching black folks. In Africa, they know how you're treating black Americans here in America. You will not have no end with that. Because what that symbolizes to them, that you will do the same thing that you've been doing to black people for hundreds of years. All you're showing is that, America's showing is that it's white supremacy has no bottom. No matter how tough it gets, no matter how it looks to the world, they're going to be white supremacists. This is why they have even in China. That's a serious problem because of white supremacy, because of racism, because of arrogance, because of narcissism, that you can talk down on people who are non-white. That's the biggest problem they're having with the Chinese negotiations for supplies now, is they want to talk to them like they're less than. And that's just not how it doesn't work like that. People have been tired of this for hundreds of years, but now everybody's in a position to tell you, kick rocks, go fuck yourself. And that's what they're doing to America. And I'm just telling you, in China, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, all them Asian countries, they've already formed their bloc, along with some Middle East countries. Donald Trump lies to us, and people eat up those lies about how popular we are and what deals he's going to get, and none's materialized yet. He went to the Middle East, and they rolled out the carpet to him, but he didn't deliver anything. And he's not going to get anything. These are all people are feeling him out now because they're trying to make a decision. Do we stick with America or do we go BRICS? They're going BRICS. BRICS is the soft global coalition formed by China, Russia, India, Brazil, and South America. But right now it's up to 44 countries, and other countries are signing up because it's non-hegemonic. And that's the problem that Europe and America has had for hundreds of years. They're hegemons, and they can't get over the fact that the world has grown. They're stuck in their systematic bullshit it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt all of America. I'm not saying this with any joy, because in America, we're going to suffer greatly. Greatly. I'm talking about we're talking about supplies on shelves and not having different things for Christmas. Don't forget about that. That's minor compared to what's coming our way. Because what Trump did when he tried to extort the world, he actually made them come together in a group as a coalition against us. You don't have to follow the news, but check a little bit to see that, hey, the world is against us. Even that World Cup that we're supposed to have here in America, it may be canceled for us. They may cancel that because it's not safe for foreigners to come to America. Our tourism is down because of the deportations we're doing, because of customs and ICE just grabbing people of all races, of all ages, and putting them in detention centers. And the fact is not just that they're doing it, but they show so little respect for the humanity of the people that they're grabbing up. And everybody knows that, these people that are working now for ICE, we know those are all, Proud Boys and all these other different groups, that these different radical racial groups. But what's happening is, it's not what they're doing to us here. The world sees that. We have become a pariah. The dollar is losing value. Actually, you have the BRICS countries considering withdrawing all their money that they've loaned America. That's about $7 trillion, $7.5 trillion. It's not that they're considering it, they're already in a process of doing it. Once the dollar becomes more devalued, that means that your interest rates on everything is going to go up. Inflation is going to go up. America has a $36 trillion debt. That's close to $37 trillion now. That they're trying to pass this bill in the Senate for tax cuts for billionaires. That's going to probably bring it to about 40 or 41. And we gain nothing from it. As a matter of fact, we lose because they're taking our Medicaid. They're taking our Department of Education. They're taking money from Social Security. They're taking the money that went for seniors to be cared for. They're taking every little bit of change they can to give to themselves. And the sad part about it, the same people that voted these people in, even though they heard everything they said, are going to vote for them again. They're going to eat that up. That Reaganomics that came in way back in 1980, talking about we give breaks to the rich and it's going to trickle down economics. Nothing's trickled down since 1980, 40 years. Where is your trickle down? No, it's only getting tighter for us. You have to understand, America is a capitalistic country built on capitalism at the beginning. At the beginning, when they came here and they started working the land, the Indians were the first ones that they grabbed to try to get to work the land. When that didn't work out, because the Indians became sick, and the European diseases they had no defense against, they hadn't built up any immunization against any of that stuff, so they were getting sick. And they would run off and they'd leave and go to the deeper part of the country, and you couldn't, and that would be it. Then they start bringing over the people out of the prisons, the poor people in England, the Irish, who England had been dogged for years. They were the original savages. Matter of fact, they were the original slaves here. Those people off the street of England, the poor people, the Irish, those were the original slaves for the first almost 70 years or better. They didn't have black slaves then. Those were all the indentured servants, and they say indentured servitude meant nothing. You were a slave. In other words, you were commissioned to these people for 7 years, and they could sell you to other people, which they did. They can beat you, which they did. And I said the Irish people were first. The poor people out of England were first. As we said, the people that had money and were doing good in England, they didn't travel the land and come over here to no damn dry-ass land with no resources. They didn't do that. Only the imperialists, the money people came here to make money, and the capitalistic system was created in America at that very moment. And that system says we recognize no humanity of anyone that is poor. The only reason white people in this country have a leg up on everybody else is because they figure they give you guys a little bit more so they wouldn't be outnumbered. But now, as you guys can see, is they're taking away all your shit. Now that they figure they have robotics, they have AI, they need a lot less of you. Well, you kick back into the marginalized group. You're one of the minorities here. Even though the rich are the minority, but they got the money, so we're all the little peasants. See, monarchy never ended in the world. Monarchy never ended if you allow it. And it's been allowed here. It's been the way here. We've never actually been a democracy. It's always been a capitalistic society based on monarchy. Always. They wrote the Constitution and Bill of Rights, all that was for a better world, but those people didn't even exercise it. I mean, just think, when they wrote all that, they had slaves. So where was the truth in there? It was ideas, what they hoped to see. And the problem is, even with all the assistance they got from black people here to help make this go, which they did, because black people fought in the French-Indian War, they fought in the Revolutionary War. Actually, James Armistead is one of the reasons that we won the Revolutionary War. He was that spook that sat by the door with the British and got all this information to Washington so that we could win the war. A black slave who could read got infiltrated the British Army, was an aide to General Cornwallis. So he knew about troop movements, he knew all that, and he had access to all the paperwork because they looked at it as just a black slave. This son bitch here, you know. And he cleans up, but he was reading everything. He was copying stuff. The Revolutionary Army here was losing. The Continental Army was losing. They were thinking about recalling George Washington because we were losing every battle. Yes, George Washington was almost not to be a general and definitely not to be the president. But James Armistead Lafayette, a black slave, was able to get information, and they were able to outmaneuver the British Army, and that's how we won. We captured General Cornwallis based on information from James Armistead Lafayette, a black man, a slave, who after everything was over, he was still a slave. He fought there for his freedom. They didn't give it to him. And the Marquis de Lafayette, whose command he was under, petitioned the United States for this man's freedom. This is how, I won't say racist, I'm gonna say this is how capitalism works. No matter what you do, it's only like, what can you do for me now? Not what you have done, what you can do for me now. If you can't do it now, you have no value. That's what America's built on. That. They cry about a socialist society and they complain about a communist society, all those other things. Right? We know that a capitalist society doesn't work for the people. We know that. Actually, America needs a new set of billionaires that are a lot more intelligent than the ones we have. Because with the resources and the status of this country, if they're choosing to do all this crap they're doing now, those are not just dummies. They're simple-minded dummies. How can you take greatness and destroy it instead of making it greater? I would rather, to me, I don't have the education of a lot of these people that are in these positions, but common sense tells me that if I want to do something great and positive and leave a mark in humanity where I've actually done something to forward the progress of humanity, I would do that. Instead, these small-minded people are only worried about their pockets. They only want to reinforce their pockets. And I'm just saying, if you're a billionaire, I mean, how much more do you need before you die? But this is what I said, these are simple-minded, capitalistic, greedy sons of bitches. Greedy, small, little sons of bitches. We have the worst set of billionaires in America that we could, I mean, we couldn't imagine anything worse than this group we have here. The rich people here are garbage. I'm sorry, they're garbage. They're not even, they represent no parts of America. And I mean, I'm talking about like the Elon Musk, the Peter Thiels, the BlackRock organization. No parts of America does not matter to them. Those people are foreigners, the majority of them. Those companies are worried about global money. They don't give a shit about us. As a matter of fact, they just assume put us all on the farm, milking cows, picking cotton. And I'm talking about all of us, not just the black people and Mexicans. I'm talking about all of us. They just assume we do that in the farms that they're taking from these generational farm families. That was also something that was planned and contrived to do this. The Vice President of the United States is a shareholder in a group called Acre Trader. They're buying up all the farmland that you guys are losing. It was always planned for you to lose because they could bank on the racism, the bigotry, and the small-mindedness that was created in this country. They could bank on you guys doing that because they've been feeding you all this information by the droves for years, on TV, in the radio. They keep feeding you this lies. And you just keep eating it without ever verifying anything. And now this is what we have. You know, and the thing is, you guys, there's been a lot of people damaged in this country. A lot of people, a lot of groups, marginalized. Never should have did that to the Native Americans when they welcomed you into this country. You never should have did that. You never should have enslaved black people for 250 years and then marginalized them and debase, degrade, and oppress even after all the work, everything, all the contributions. You couldn't help yourself. And now, like I say, in Africa, America's shit out of luck. Because black people in America have a lot of say-so as to what happens to you guys, what kind of business they're going to do with you over there. Not because of words that we put out our mouth or any directives, because they watch how you treat the people here. You can try and eliminate our history. You could do, that's all stupid. How idiotic is it for these people like these Republicans to try and alter history that is written, it's in the cloud, it's in millions of textbooks, it's all over the world. You can't hide that shit. They're trying to hide their wrongdoings for what? They look stupider, dumber, trying to do something that everybody already knows. But, like I say, you shit out of luck in Africa. You're not going to make any inroads there no time soon. But any inroads you do will be because of black Americans. You won't get in any other way. You won't. You just won't. Because your time is up. You had your run. It's over. You squandered your opportunities. The rest of the world is rising past you. You had opportunity to be the head of the world and to be a great part of the world, and you squandered it with bigotry, with racism, with idolatry. And now, this country, oh, this is going to completely crash. No, it's going to go completely crash. You know, those, you see that Nottoway fires in D.C. and all these tornadoes and all that. And we still got a whole bunch of hurricanes that come do a whole lot more damage. And how do I know that? It's in the air. It's in the air. This train is already moving one way. Look around the world. Look how they're doing. Look how the world is reorganizing around us. Look how black people are reorganizing around the people in this country. We're going to extricate ourselves from you. We're not saying segregate or anything like that, but we're going to extricate. We're going to pull more inward because we don't have an ally for what we believe this world is about. And that's about peace, love, harmony, prosperity for all men, because all of us are people of God. We were all created by God. God gave us dominion over this world, but he didn't give no man dominion over another. But that's America's fall. That's going to be the fall of America, thinking you have dominion over other people. You know, I'm not going to say we can understand it 400 or 500 years ago, but if 500 years you guys are still on the same trash, this country, oh, the spirit of the world, I say it's over. You've already squandered your opportunity. There's no way back. There's no way back. The rest of the world is going to take the lead, and we're going to get whatever they give us. Our military is what it is, but theirs is what it is too. Nuclear war ends everything, so that's the deterrent for even something getting way out of hand. But these people, they're moving on without us because we are not that we're just not reliable, we're actually anarchists. We are anarchists. We act savagely. We're acting like barbarians in 2025. We're not even acting like civilized people. I mean, how are you going to go and raid and take people out of church, from court hearings? No rights, no due process. You just take them and ship them off to some other country, some other state with nothing, no recourse. That is savage. Savage and barbaric. And in 2025, we're just as savage and barbaric as we were in 1600, in 1700. Our barbarism is just what it is. And the world's moving past that, and they got power. They don't have to deal with us. And they're not. And it's already done. It's already done. So we don't have to even trip. Make plans for what you're going to do from here on out. And that's what, as black people, we're going to make our plans for what we're going to do, because contrary to popular belief, America is our country, but this is not our nation. This is not our nation. You guys are not our nation. You told us that. You showed us that, not just through the years, but you put the nail in the coffin on November 5th. The nail in the coffin, you told all black people what America stands for still. 400 years later, what you guys still stand for. And it's not about being a great country. It's not about sovereignty. It's not about independence. It's not a country of love. It's not a country of empathy or compassion. We're not that. We're a barbaric country that can't let go of its barbaric culture. And with that, we stuck the knife up our own arse with no grease.